Hello there. So today I want to try understanding the left. The reason for this is because, in general, I found in my life, the more things I could understand, the more I can learn to accept things. Anything that's been bothering me, anything that got to me, anything that got me down in my life, anytime I would see something that would get to me, whatever it may be, I would try understanding it. And the more I can understand it, the more I can accept it, the more happy I will be. And the more I've done this through things in my life, the more happier I have been. So I think the most non controversial statement I can make is that we all want to be happy. And I think in this country right now, we are not happy. We are divorced. We have divorce rate is literally through the roof in this country, and politically, we have a literal divide in this country. We are literally just not getting along. We are literally divorced. We don't know how to be married. We don't know how to get along. So we got to fix this. We got to work on this. And I think if you're on the right, you're thinking like, well, we're right and we're gonna win. We're on the warpath and all that stuff. And you might think like you're feeling good, you're feeling happy, and you're looking forward to maybe Trump 2020 and all that stuff. But what you don't realize is we're not getting along in this country. We're hurting in this country, and you're also hurting. You may not realize it, but you're hurting. If you're in the political world, you're seeing things politically that you disagree with that are you think are bad, that you need to abolish. You think you need to abolish and get rid of and all that stuff. These are things that are basically they're affecting you negatively. While you're having negative thoughts, and when you have negative thoughts, that translate inside of you to giving you negative feelings. And these negative feelings, every single time these things happen, they make you more unhappy. Now, you got to think to yourself, do you want to live the rest of your life having these things making you more unhappy? It doesn't just leave you like more unhappy at the moment. It leaves you getting more and more unhappy as you get older. You become more bitter. You've seen this in older people. You see that there are things in their lives that cause them to be more bitter and grumpy and all these things that there's nothing you can do about it. And they're basically set in their ways and they've never tried fixing themselves. They never tried getting to a place, maybe I should try understanding these people better and understanding things in life better to be happier. And you got to try your best to be as happy as you can be. So you got to try actually doing that. And you want to try not being on the warpath and winning. The marriage advice, you can be right or you can be happy. You can't be both. So when it comes to the left, people you have to live with in this country, you got to try and understand them as much as possible. The more you can understand, the more you can accept them, the more you can be happier. That's just the reality of it, whether you like it or not. Now, you might ask, how can you understand them? How can you accept them? How can you do any of that stuff? Well, I don't have all the answers. I don't think I accept them, but I do think we got to try working there. I know I've done this before with other things. I'm sure I can do it here to some extent, minimizing it as much as possible. I just don't think when I see the right and the left getting into it, they're just attacking one another, and there's cockiness and there's this condescending attitude. I know better. You're ignorant. This and that, and prove me wrong. I even saw one time there was this debate. They were going back and forth where about pro-choice and all that stuff. The person was saying, "Well, the inside the womb, what's there is a fetus," and the person's like, "No, it's not," and the other person's like, "Yes, it is." And it's like they're not even like defining their terms. Like the best way to get into discussions, healthy, productive discussions, is first you define your terms and you discuss it. You're not even going to define your terms. You're just going to argue like children about these things. You're not getting anywhere. And I've seen other people argue, well, a fetus is a baby. And the other person's like, well, no, it's not. Well, yes, it is. And then, like, what is it? And then these people are just still not productive conversations going on here. These are not productive debates. And trying to prove you're right isn't going to help. How about where is the person coming in and saying, I want to understand you? Why don't you explain you to me? Because I really just want to understand it and have that conversation. Don't have the conversation trying to be right. Have the conversation rather trying to be happy, because you can be right or you can be happy. You can't be both. So maybe you are right and maybe they're wrong, but you will be much happier walking away actually understanding them better than you will be trying to prove them that you're right. And perhaps if you get into the conversation, there's a greater chance, if you're understanding them, that they'll actually hear you out because you're hearing them out. Now you're having a healthy conversation. You're actually being married in a healthy way, and you can actually learn to get along. And perhaps if we can learn to get along better, we can be married better, and we can get along in this country better, where we don't have this crazy political divide. But it's important we try understanding one another. I'm saying this is about understanding the left, but this is really about everyone. It's really about everyone just trying to get along and understand one another and accept one another and work through things. So let's give an example from the left. I think, for example, um, I would imagine the left set would argue that there's rich people out there, they have all this money, and if they were to just distribute their money throughout the people, they were to be taxed, which they argue that the rich people should be taxed, then everyone will be financially better off, which isn't true. I disagree with that. but try understanding it as much as you can from their point of view. So how does this work? Get numbers, and if they don't have numbers, they don't have anything, then leave it as it is and accept it. You believe what you believe. This is the extent of what you believe. We're gonna leave it here. I accept that. Move on. You didn't do anything as far as you're concerned, but you had a productive conversation with somebody from an opposing view, and the more you do that, the better you can get at it, the more productive you'll be over time. Perhaps it's not like you're gonna just over right now. You're gonna change over and be better and change everyone's minds and all that stuff. That's not gonna work, and it shouldn't be something you're trying to do. You're better off trying to understand them and accept them for yourself. That's all we can really try to do, and that's what I found I've done to be happier with things in my life that I've been able to move forward, move on from. And we all got to be able to move on from this. But if we're just going to keep fighting, we're going to keep attacking, we're going to be trying to be right and on the war path, and there's all these people talking about this civil Cold War coming and all that stuff between the left and the right, and it's like, we're living with one another, okay? Live in reality. You're not living in reality when you're thinking we got to be prepared for a war and live with a war. There's no war happening. There's craziness going on. We've had a lot of craziness going on in this country over the years, and it didn't necessarily cause a war to break out and all that stuff. And we've had riots and looting and all that stuff happen before. It's not like we never had this before, and every time this happened, war broke out. That's not what's happened in the past. It's not how the Civil War happened. It's not how the Cold War happened. It's not how things, well, whatever. But the point is, we're not going to get anywhere trying to just be right. We got to learn to be married better, understand one another better, get along better, and that's it. So like, subscribe, share. Thank you. All the best.